This is the Graf Zeppelin, a Tier 7 premium German aircraft carrier. The ship is probably most famous for being the only aircraft carrier launched by Germany in World War II, but it was only 85% complete and it never saw operations. So here in the game we do have the ship, and it boasts great secondaries if you want to go ahead and set the ship up for secondaries, which we will talk about later on in the video. But for now, let's get into the setup of the ship and the commander, who is Hans Geisler. Base trait is Barrage. It improves the secondary battery reload time, and here for inspirations I went with a double health inspiration with Henry J. Hyde, Wrenchman Extraordinaire, which increases the maximum HP of the ship, and then I have William Sims Built to Last, which also increases the HP ship per ship tier. As for skills, I have Swatting with Flies. Your aircraft carrier's average AA damage is increased by 20% per second. And then we have One-Way Ticket, which improves the torpedo damage of your torpedo planes. And then we have Hidden Threat, which will improve the torpedo bomber detectability and the torpedo bomber's HP. This is the health of the torpedo bombers, not the damage output, I believe. And then the last skill is Heavy Consequences. Aircraft carrier's armor-piercing bomb damage is improved, as is the bomb penetration multiplier. For legendary skill, I have ranked up to legendary rank 2. I have Corkscrew, armor-piercing shell, and bomb penetration multiplier is improved by 3%. And the special effect is incoming damage to your aircraft carrier is reduced by 20% when you're within 2 kilometers of an allied ship. Ranking up to legendary rank 4 would increase that radius up to 3.5 kilometers. All right, let's check out the upgrades. The first upgrade is Flight Control Mod 1. Aircraft restoration is improved by 15%. I did experiment with the secondary build for the ship. You can see secondary battery is in stock here. I'll talk about that later, but ultimately I did go with improving the airplanes on the Graf Zeppelin. Second upgrade is Air Group Mod 2. This improves the bombers' HP for the torpedoes and the dive bombers, and here you can see I was also experimenting with this secondary upgrade as well. And then I went with Concealment System Mod 1. Detectability Range is improved by 10%, as is the incoming fire dispersion is improved by 5%. And then here I went with Air Groups Mod 3. For the last upgrade, aircraft return speed is improved by 25%, and then the bomber's HP is improved by 4% again. And as you can see, I was experimenting with the secondary build yet again on this slot, and ultimately went with the aircraft, and we'll talk about that more during the highlight sequence. As for the loadout, each of the squadrons here, whether it's armor-piercing bombs or torpedoes, have an engine cooling consumable. Duration is 5 seconds, reload time is 80 seconds, and there are 2 consumables per squadron. And then here we have patrol fighter consumables, and the aircraft will patrol the area and automatically attack enemy aircraft. Duration is 60 seconds, reload time is 10 seconds, and there are 3 consumables, and that is per squadron. And then here, Evasive Maneuver consumable is the last one per squadron. Incoming damage to your squadron is reduced by 50% while the consumable is active. Duration is 10 seconds, reload time is 150 seconds, and there are 2 of those consumables. And then these are the auto consumables, which run automatically during autopilot from the aircraft carrier. Damage control party is the first one. Duration is 60 seconds, reloads every 90 seconds, and there is an unlimited number of those consumables. Then we have the fighter auto consumable. This will follow the ship and automatically attack enemy aircraft. It activates automatically whenever your aircraft carrier is spotted by an enemy. Duration is 600 seconds, reload time is 40 seconds, And there are 4 of these consumables. And here are the boosters. During a standard match, we might be selecting any number of boosters here. And the ship comes with a standard premium permanent camouflage. Sea detectability range and incoming fire dispersion is 4.5% respectively. Let's check out the stats. Survivability hit points is 58,100. Armor is 9 to 100 millimeters. And then the aircraft, you basically have Stuka dive bombers here. For the torpedoes, the hit points for the squadron is 2740. Maximum speed is 189 knots. Attack unit size is 3. Aircraft per squadron is 9. Their detectability while they're flying is 9.3 kilometers. Restoration time is 68 seconds. When I went with a total secondary build, the restoration time went up to 80 seconds, and that is definitely a detriment. Maximum torpedo damage is 6230. Torpedo speed is 45 knots, and the range of 6 kilometers is among the greatest range of any torpedo bomber on an aircraft carrier. As for the dive bombers, the armor-piercing dive bombers, the hit points for the squadron is 3428. They also have a maximum speed of 189 knots. Attack unit size is 2. Aircraft per squadron is 8. And the squadron has a 10-kilometer detectability range as you're flying to your target. Restoration time again is 68 seconds, and this also would be increased to 80 seconds if you went with the secondary build. Maximum damage is 7828, and you will definitely get Citadel hits here with these armor-piercing dive bombers. And then the artillery, here is a secondary armament. So the firing range is only 5 kilometers. You can increase this up to 7.8 kilometers or so if you go with a complete secondary build. Reload time is 4.3 seconds. Shell damage, HE shell damage is 1200 with a 5% chance of setting fire for the 105s. And for the 150s, reload time is 9 seconds. Maximum damage is 1700 and an 8% chance of setting fire. But in a lot of the standard matches I was in, you rarely ran into an enemy ship to make your secondary enhancements come into effect, and they still didn't really kill the ship that you were targeting. So I ultimately went with a total airplane build instead of a secondary build, and that was my reason for that. We'll talk about this more in the highlights. And here are your Aaa defenses. Looks like you do have a fair number of AA, and like any aircraft carrier, you do have the potential to clear the sky pretty well with this AA setup. Maneuverability 32 knots. Turning circle radius is 1140 meters. Where rudder shift time is 13.7 seconds, and this is really all being controlled by the autopilot for the most part anyway. There are occasions where I will go in and take manual control to maneuver out of the way of destroyers, torpedoes, if that becomes a problem, but in general, it's autopilot here. Concealment detectability range by sea is 10.4 kilometers. Detectability range by air is 7.6 kilometers. And the guaranteed detectability range is 2 kilometers, and there's nothing here for being in the smoke. So apparently, if you're in the smoke, it's not going to help you out. I just noticed that now. All right, let's check out the armor. And this is pretty standard looking. This looks a lot like the Parseval. A lot of green armor here. Let's remove a lot of this armor and check out the Citadel. And yeah, so this looks like it is right at the waterline, and it is green armor. So 17 to 24 millimeter armor. It does resist 102 millimeter HE shells. However, 102 millimeter armor piercing shells can deal penetration damage, so it will not take much to Citadel the Graf Zeppelin, and you do want to be mindful of the mini-map and maneuver out of the way of incoming enemy ships. Overview. AP bombs, aircraft with armor-piercing bombs. That is awesome, and you will definitely get Citadel hits on cruisers and battleships here with the Graf Zeppelin bombs. High-octane fuel. Planes are equipped with more powerful engine boost, and this has been questioned in the past. I don't really know about this, but All right, they do go 189 knots. I've just noticed this is basically a normal Tier 7 aircraft carrier, so I try to not make too much out of this. Precise bombs, aircraft with high precision bombs, and there is kind of a unique reticle which is more round looking, and it's supposed to help you target ships from a broadside instead of a straight on. So we'll be checking that out in the highlights. So then the Graf Zeppelin is a high-speed aircraft carrier armed with numerous secondary and dual-purpose guns. She had the most powerful propulsion among all German Navy ships. The carrier was never completed due to Germany's shipbuilding program priorities, which were changing during the course of World War II. Year of design was 1936, and as we said, there were no ships in the series. Alright, so that's it for the setup of the ship and the commander. Let's go out in a standard battle and check out some highlights.
Right, we're in estuary, and as I said, we were going to talk a little bit more about the secondary build, and I did do a secondary challenge in AI where I maxed out the ship upgrade options and the commander for secondary inspirations of Haruna and Hipper, and we did get almost 8 kilometer secondary range with a little bit quicker secondary reload and the accuracy that goes with all that, and went out in AI and got around 200 secondary hits. That was the best I was able to do. If you can get a higher number than that, go ahead and let me know down below. But after, I don't know, maybe 10 matches with that build in standard, I really was not getting anywhere. The airplanes regenerated very slowly, and they were their health was way down because that's part of the benefits you give up when you go with a secondary build. And here, so here you see I'm doing some pre-dropping here, and what that is you release a couple attack flights from your attack units from your squadron, and then as you're making your torpedo run or bomb run, you don't lose the entire squadron. And this right here is my number one issue that I have with aircraft carriers. For me, I've sort of got to the point where it just really is not that fun to play when you're doing pre-dropping all the time. So here I let the torpedoes go at around 2.5 kilometers away. These are 6 kilometer torpedoes, and we're going to look to get some long range hits here. That's been my strategy with the Graf Zeppelin. Otherwise, if you get too close, you get taken out by the Aaa. But in order to have an effective secondary build, it sort of seems to me that you need to have a much longer range and really make any destroyer or cruiser or whatever pay when they get close to you. And that simply does not happen with any of the aircraft carriers in the game. And so I've sort of given up on a secondary build. Here you see I have also given up on the pre-dropping. I have decided that for the rest of the match I am not going to pre-drop anymore, and we are just going to go as is with the entire squadron. So there's a great lineup. We do get a Citadel hit on that cruiser. So cruisers are kind of narrow, and usually you have a much better percentage of getting a hit on a battleship than you do on a cruiser. So here, so here's the other thing: is the really long turn time of these airplanes. A lot has been made about that, and yeah, they're a little bit slower, but in general, the aircraft seem to get wiped out by the Aaa anyway, even if you do have a fast turn time. So that's not really something that's been bothering me really all that much. And here we do get another Citadel hit on that same cruiser. So we are kind of looking to take that guy out. We're still surviving. The squadron has still survived somehow. So we are almost going to be able to get 3 attack runs here, and that is unbelievable. I can't remember the last time that happened. For sure, if you have more health on your airplanes, that you're going to make that happen. So here is 3 attack runs, and that was a miss, but still we were able to get the 3 attack runs, and that might have been a fluke. It seems to me that in any aircraft carrier that I'm in, even if I set the aircraft carriers up for airplanes as far as health and regeneration, they still get taken out when you leave the entire squadron intact like this. But like I said, I've had it with pre-dropping, and we're going to go as is. There's 3 cruisers to choose from, and the cruiser over to the left over here looks like he's the thinnest. I don't think he's going to be around that much longer, and ultimately I'm trying to make up my mind which way to go, and I'm just letting these torpedoes go and hope that the long range will be sufficient to allow that cruiser to trip into that one of those torpedoes. And here looks like we have 5 aircraft left, so we have kind of survived at this point. We haven't used any of the invulnerability, the consumable over on the left there at this point. A lot of times when I'm making these dives, I will hit the invulnerability, and then the airplane squadron, the fighter squadron there, one of those torpedoes did take out one of those cruisers over there. So there you go on the 6-kilometer torpedoes. Here we do get 2 more torpedo hits on that cruiser. So we're having a little bit of luck so far here with these torpedoes and the bomb drops. We got 2 bomb hits and 2 Citadels. So that is a great percentage right there. And we are ahead a little bit in the match. But we're going to go again, and yeah, no pre-dropping. We're going to come around here and try to get a good angle on this cruiser right over here, that guy that's 6.5 kilometers away or so. And we are just going to try to line him up and obviously look for some more Citadel hits. So here the invulnerability is going because the AA is kind of doing its thing here. So we're going to try to get a Citadel hit. If we do, that is a destroyed ship, I think. Nope. He survived, and there is a 3rd bomb hit and a 3rd Citadel hit. 4 bomb hits and 3 Citadel hits. So we got 2 bomb hits there on that one, but that guy is looking really thin. He is not going to be around very much longer. I will be surprised if I make it back over there. It's a Mogami, and I am also surprised that all my airplanes are intact. Normally, they completely get obliterated. We're going to go again here, and there we get another hit. It wasn't a Citadel, but it was still a hit. So we are just whittling away the health of that Mogami right there. And he is really getting plastered. I don't know if he's going to be around. Hopefully he will, and we can take him out. That would be great. And no, we miss. So back to the ship. And now I switch back to torpedoes. And you can see, because we're not pre-dropping, we are kind of depleting our aircraft. And now we have a full squadron, but we have a very small amount left. So we still have the 9 aircraft here. So we're going to go and take a shot at the cruiser over there. We let those torpedoes go at 2 kilometers away. Any closer than that, and the AA would really do a number on me. So here, yeah, you can see that one of the torpedoes might get a hit, and it does. So he wasn't really able to evade those torpedoes because of the extremely long range. Right, so he's angling perfectly for us and our torpedoes. Let's hope that he will trip into these torpedoes. That would be awesome. And it looks like staying far away from the ships as I'm making my attack runs is sort of keeping my squadron intact. So maybe that's what I have to do. But it looks like we are easily going to win the match. And so the other thing about the Graf Zeppelin is 17,500 doubloons is the price on the Graf Zeppelin. So everyone has to make their decision on whether the ship is worth it. I really didn't like the ship when I first got it and started playing it, but the more I've played it, the more I do like it, and I'll be looking to get some more highlights with the Graf Zeppelin. But I find it to be a fun ship to play. Everyone has to make their own decision on whether it's 17,500 doubloons of fun But as you can see here, I am able to make this work without pre-dropping. And we have a full set of torpedoes left on the aircraft carrier. We have 8 torpedo bombers ready and waiting. They're on ready alert, as it were. So there was a destroyer over there. There's a destroyer and the aircraft carrier left. I'm going to go hunting for the aircraft carrier. And yeah, so you can see that I have not moved my aircraft carrier to this point, and now I'm moving it closer to the other aircraft carrier, more toward the center of the map, and actually could potentially start capturing the base right here, start capturing C if we do get close enough. But there is the aircraft carrier, so we're going to look to get some bomb hits on them. We do hit the invulnerability, and that is a Parseval. Kind of looks like the Graf Zeppelin, but it's not. It's a Parseval. We get 2 more bomb hits. We're up to 48,000 damage. We're going to swing around, and you can see that our entire squadron is gone here. So this is basically normally what happens when you do not pre-drop. You make one attack run, and your entire squadron gets wiped out. So we did take off with the torpedoes. We switched to a different ordnance because we did have that full squadron waiting on deck for us. So now we're going to go back out and look to continue to attack the aircraft carrier. All right, so we're going to come around here and try to get a good broadside shot on the Parseval here. And it looks like he is starting to turn away a little bit, but we are going to come around, and those main gun shells are really starting to plaster the Parseval. So he may not be around for very much longer here, but we're going to try to lead him, and that might not be enough. Actually, that might be too short of a lead-in. And here you can see as we're turning around, our entire flight gets wiped out. So that is very typical, as I said, of no pre-dropping. It's about the only thing that you can do to keep a decent amount of aircraft on deck. The regeneration rate only works so well because you're going to regenerate aircraft that's going to get taken out on one flight if you don't do a pre-drop. So the battle has ended. All right, well, 375,000 credits. That is great. That's your Tier 7 Premium Economy in action right there. Only 48,000 battle performance damage. We did detect 5 ships. We got 5 torpedo hits, 7 bomb hits, a couple aircraft shot down, a destroyed ship, 3 Citadel hits, 2 floodings, 2 defended flags. All right, we didn't really do that great on the team result, I don't think. Yeah, it's like 6th place. But we did make 271,000 credits by the time it was all said and done. Well, that's it for the Graf Zeppelin. Overall, I really do like the ship. It's fun to play. Everyone has to make their own decision on whether it's worth 17,500 doubloons. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like it.
Enemy battleship sunk. We've destroyed an enemy cruiser. Our team has taken the lead.